Hey guys, welcome back to another video on how to build your layout from start to finish. Today we're working on how to paint and scenic the hills that we built in the last video. These have hardened now, they're pretty hard, and the plaster cloth that we used from Woodland Scenics has done a good job of making a firm surface. Now, one question I had when I was doing this was, when the plaster cloth stops and the foam board begins, you've got this ridge. So I kind of did some looking into the matter and found that if you use some lightweight hydrocal, it's the best stuff. You can kind of blend it together as you see here. So if you blend these areas together from the seam of the plaster cloth to the foam board, you'll be fine. Plus, no real land mass is very even anyway. So I've kind of made little hills and bumps all along the way. Except I left over here clear because it's going to be farmland, and you may see my UFO has done some damage over here and made a crop circle. So that's going to be several different pieces of farmland. It's going to have an aerial view where it's patched out, and we'll work on that later. Another thing you might notice is that I've taped off all my track. That's very important. I highly suggest that. The reason that is because you can damage your track with the paint, especially with my concrete ties. What you have is a lightweight or a light color with this dark earth brown paint I bought from Walmart, and it can damage the ties and make it look like crap. Plus, not to mention your nickel silver that runs on the actual track will lose its conductivity if there's paint on it. So to tape it off, I suggest this Scott's blue tape with edge lock. It's really good stuff. It does a good job. I thought the edge lock was a gimmick and they were full of crap until I used it on my river over here. Used regular painter's tape and it was dripping everywhere. I used edge lock and it stopped it right away. It's expensive stuff, but I think it's worth it, so I would go with that. So the hills are done. What we're going to do now is just simply apply brown paint. I got a wide brush so I can get more damage done quicker. And I'm just starting to paint. There's no painting inside the lines or anything like in third grade. You just got to go with it and cover all the areas, and you're going to have to dabble the paint like this to get that to fill in the little white areas, and you keep on going and going, and it's going to take forever. So I'm not even going to waste our time with having you watch me paint this whole thing. So what I will do is skip forward to the next part in the next video, which will be actually applying the ground cover and stuff on the wet paint. Alright guys, what I'm doing now is taking Woodland Scenics blended turf, earth blend, and mixed with some different colors of greens. I'm putting it in this sieve, they're called, and I'm spreading it out over the terrain that I just painted. So the paint is still wet, and all I'm doing is filtering it through the sieve, or sieve it's called, and applying it. Now what I have here is a little bit too much green. It looks kind of too artificial, so I'll go back and I'll mix in a couple different colors. I've got this earth blend. I'll put more of that in with the green, so it brings a more realistic look, because not all grass is perfectly green. Mix it in a bowl like this. Then what I can do is go and spread it out on this sieve here. Like I said, this paint is wet, which will help bind, not all of it, but most of this turf to the paint as it's wet. I'm going up over the hills, and this is kind of my hilly area of my layout that leads out to farmland closer to the tracks. And also another little tip for you is you don't want to paint the area closest to you for several reasons. As you work out, you want to get the areas away from you because you don't want paint all over you. I mean, if you're not wearing a nice t-shirt like this classy one I've got on right now, it's no big deal, but you don't want paint on you, and you also want to leave a little area where you haven't put down this turf where you have it painted, because it's like a buffer zone. If you paint too close, you're going to get this turf back on your paintbrush and it's going to clump up and just become a nice big mess. So you want to leave a little area like I'm leaving, not turfed yet, where I've got to repaint or paint more of the area. So I'm leaving a little barrier on this end and a little barrier close to me because I still have painting to do, but you get the idea. So what we've got going on now is we've got the fields kind of sectioned off, but I'm still going to add some what's called coarse turf, earth color around it, so that way it'll represent trees and shrubs. Because if you look at an aerial view of a farm, a lot of farmers don't like their land being able to be intruded upon, so they'll just put shrubs and stuff around to section it off from other farmlands, and that's what I'm doing now. So it's not looking as good as I would have liked it to, but it's not looking bad either, so I guess I can't complain. There's going to be, this is just open grassy areas over here, and then these will be farmlands down as you come off the little hills here. So not looking too bad, but you know, it's a rookie attempt, so maybe I can get better in the future. Alright, as you can see on the right hand side of your screen, what I've done is plowed the field, which I did by taking a little index card, cutting off a bunch of little ridges and just running it across. I'll also be doing this on one other area so you can see how it works. It's pretty simple. So as you can see there, I've made the pattern of a plow. Kind of got to go over it again because the foam will, the ground foam will bunch up on you as you're plowing it. But that's what we've got there. And I've ran, as you can see, the little bushes across all the different farmlands. And I've got my crop circle sitting there. I will just say, for whatever narrative purposes, that the farmer saw the crop circle and decided not to clear the fields and left the crop circle there, because usually that field there is already grown up and looks like it's ready for harvesting, while everything else is fresh and new. So maybe I'll add a layer of paint to that to make it green or something later on. We'll figure that out as we go. Alright, once again, we've now painted the outer perimeter, and in the spirit of being lazy, I'm just going to make it green, and with a little bit of hint of other colors in there for grazing pastures or cows or whatever. I'm just getting tired of the farm thing already. It takes a lot of time. So the outer part will be green, and I'll be working on that, but I've already showed you how to do that. So just a quick review of what we've done today. This is all done in one day. The farmlands over here, crop circles, still thinking about turning that colors. You see I've got this little grooves put in there with a piece of paper. I showed you how to do that. Don't worry about that barn, it's not going to stay there. I was just getting it out of the way. Got my hills over there. I've also added a backdrop. The backdrop, it looks okay, but there's no backdrop out there without spending a crap load of money that goes continuous from one side all the way to the other. As you can see, my farm scene breaks off immediately in the sky, and it just doesn't continuously flow. So this is available through realisticbackgrounds.com, and it's pretty nice, but they don't have ones that flow together. Redid my lake here. Now the lake has no stones in it, and looks a little better, and it's a little deeper too. Let me get this zoomed out. Okay. I don't know if I showed you guys this. I don't think I did. I added the yard. There were just cars parked sitting freely. I've actually bought a bunch of switches and added a yard. So that's done. And then on this side, we've got the more fields. I can change this later to anything I want. but for now I'm doing fields while I think about what I can do. And this is going to be a cornfield. I'm going to fill it in with corn. And this is a field where the guy is tilling, cleaning up all of the weeds and about to plant. So right where that tractor is, I'm going to put something that he pulls that would till the soil up. And you can see I've drawn a line where he's got it done and he's got a little bit left to do. And that is about it. So there's buildings I've got to incorporate. I got to buy buildings, things like that. Got another soil patch here that's already been tilled, so to speak. But added vegetation along the way. Got to glue it down or do something with it to make it look a little better. Overall, it's been a very productive day, gotten a lot done. I hope you've learned some things along the way as well. See you next time when we'll be working on finishing up the modules and any questions you have, and I will be wrapping up this series of how to build a layout from start to finish. Thanks.